my home planet. My curse and my salvation.
As you probably saw from the title, the fourth Riddick movie is called Riddick Furia, and it's officially happening. Vin Diesel, aka Riddick, shared some big updates on his Instagram. But did you catch what Furya in the title actually means? Well, it's the name of Riddick's home world. But the big question is, why was it destroyed? And how is the movie going to show us that? Well, if you stick with us until the end, we'll tell you all the details. Just a few days after filming kicked off for Riddick Furia, Vin Diesel shared some awesome behind-the-scenes shots from the set. He posted a pic on his Instagram showing himself as Riddick, cruising through the desert in a dune buggy with a camera operator alongside him, likely setting up the next shot. The desert landscape is probably standing in for Riddick's home planet Furya, which is a major part of the sequel. Riddick Furia is being directed by David Twohy, who also directed Pitch Black, and although Diesel has been hinting at this fourth film for a while, this behind-the-scenes moment is all thanks to Vin himself. The Riddick series has definitely upped its game since Pitch Black, and now in Furya, Riddick will finally get a chance to visit his home planet. In the Chronicles of Riddick, we learn that Furya is a harsh place where only the strongest survive. In the new movie, Riddick returns to his birthplace, though his memories of it are a bit foggy. At first, he thinks the necromongers are still the big threat, but when he arrives, he finds the Furians are dealing with a whole new danger. Vin also shared a storyboard slide on Instagram showing Riddick in a spacesuit, looking shocked with the caption, "Scene 10, the boy's eyes shine just like Riddick's." This gives a big hint that the movie will dig deeper into Riddick's past and maybe introduce new characters like him. The storyboard suggests we could finally get some answers about Riddick's special eyes shine ability, which helped him survive the deadly darkness in Pitch Black. It looks like there's a lot to look forward to in this one. Now, let's dive into Riddick's homeworld, Furya, and why it was wiped out. The next Riddick movie, Furya, is set to explore this, so here's a quick rundown. The first movie, Pitch Black, was a low-budget creature feature that unexpectedly turned into a cult classic, thanks to a standout performance by Vin Diesel as Riddick. Riddick, a convict with the unique ability to see in the dark, his eye shine, was the only one who could survive a crash on a planet full of deadly, light-sensitive monsters. The success of Pitch Black and The Fast and the Furious helped Diesel and director David Twohy make a bigger follow-up, The Chronicles of Riddick. This film showed Riddick battling the Necromonger Empire, a group aiming to wipe out or convert all life in the universe. The movie also delved deeper into Riddick's origins, revealing that he's a Furian, part of a powerful warrior race with extraordinary strength and endurance. The Chronicles of Riddick revealed that the Necromongers had nearly wiped out the Furians because of a prophecy stating that a Furian male would one day kill the Lord Marshal. Riddick, of course, fulfilled that prophecy. The movie also showed Riddick's eye shine wasn't the result of surgery, as he'd previously claimed, but a natural Furian ability. Riddick's homeworld Furya was harsh, and only the strongest survived, which is why the Furians had such abilities. This made them a force to be reckoned with, even able to tame dangerous alien creatures like the dog-like companion Riddick befriends in the 2013 film Riddick. However, the Necromongers launched a genocidal attack on Furya, nearly wiping out the entire race. Riddick was one of the few survivors, and now, with Riddick 4 Furya, it looks like we'll get to explore more about his past and maybe even see Furya in all its brutal glory. This film could give us a deeper look at Riddick's origins, the harsh environment of Furya, and what it means for him as a character. In Riddick 4, we're going to see Riddick with a cool new power-up, and Vin Diesel even teased it himself on Instagram, sharing what he called concept art and storyboard frame from DTN Team. For those who aren't familiar, aside from the wrath of the Furians, Riddick also has a power called the Furian Energy Wave. We first saw it in Escape from Butcher Bay and the director's cut of the Chronicles of Riddick. In Butcher Bay, he uses it in a wild combo with the wrath of the Furians to take down a bunch of guards. Then in Chronicles, he uses it against Necromonger soldiers who are trying to capture him. When Riddick focuses and lets loose the Furian energy wave, it creates a shockwave that hits everyone in its path, knocking them back. Riddick didn't fully remember what happened to his home planet Furya until Chronicles introduced Karl Urban's Vako and the Necromongers, revealing more about his tragic past. Much like the Wrath of the Furians, the Furian energy wave pops up when Riddick is in a tough spot or really angry. It's something he can use pretty easily, but it takes a toll on him after a while, even for someone as tough as Riddick. So, it's definitely a power with a price. Riddick Furia is actually skipping a whole movie. You might remember in the Chronicles of Riddick, we learned a lot about the backstory, especially with the Necromongers. They were a group of religious fanatics who either wanted to convert everyone or wipe out those who didn't believe in their cause. They believed in something called the underverse, which they thought was a promised land where they'd be reborn. Back in 2013, director David Twohy mentioned in an interview that he had plans for 2 more movies, with the 4th one focusing on Riddick traveling through the underverse to get to his home planet Furya. He even suggested it could be a 2-part story. But now, with Riddick 4 being called Furya, it looks like they're skipping over the underverse and just diving straight into Riddick going back home. This could be because Riddick movies are usually lower budget, and creating a huge, epic underverse story might have been too expensive. In fact, even though the theatrical version didn't show it, there was a scene in the extended Blu-ray cut of Riddick where Riddick was about to go into the underverse to find Karl Urban's character Vako. That scene seemed like it was setting up Twohy's original plan for the 4th movie, but now it seems like the underverse will just be a quick intro, if anything. Another reason for the change could be that Riddick's creator, Vin Diesel, wants the series to have a proper ending. Over the course of the films, we've seen Riddick evolve from a tough anti-hero to someone a bit less cold-hearted. In the Chronicles of Riddick, he went through some major changes, losing the few people he cared about and learning more about his past. So, it's clear that his story needs to wrap up at some point. Director Twohy has mentioned that they're looking at finishing the series and that he knows exactly how the last movie will play out. Unlike the Fast and Furious movies, which constantly throw in new enemies, it's kind of nice that Riddick will have a planned ending. Skipping the 2-movie idea might actually be a good thing, since it means avoiding reintroducing the Necromonger storyline, which a lot of fans weren't too crazy about the first time around. The Riddick films are best when they're gritty, action-packed, and focused on Riddick's character, not so much on world building. One big question surrounding Riddick 4 Furya is whether this will truly be the end for Riddick. Diesel doesn't usually play characters who die on screen, but Furya is one of the toughest planets around, and Riddick could face challenges even he's not ready for. It's possible he might make some kind of heroic sacrifice, but knowing Diesel's love for positive endings, we might get a more hopeful conclusion to his journey. And that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave your suggestions for future videos in the comments below.